What discontinued food do you wish was brought back? My family actually has a running joke when it comes to me and discontinued foods. It seems whenever I start to like something it goes away. A few notable examples have been Eggo muffin tops, Taco Bell's beefy frito burritos, and, not a lot of people know about this one, but a carbonated yogurt called Physics that I believe was from Go-Gurt. Now my family won't let me eat stuff that they like because they're afraid I'll like it and it'll go away. Frown. Edit. Thanks for everyone who suggested alternatives to my carbonated yogurts. I have a huge Asian market near my house and I think some of those things should be there, so I'll be sure to check it out. Another one of my favorites that I just remembered was the cinnamon clusters from Chick-fil-A. So unhealthy but so delicious. Frown. Pre-2010 Spree created a Valentine's candy heart for one single Valentine's Day. I have never been able to find the Spree candied hearts on any website, but I know they exist. There was heroin in those hearts. I still think about them 15 years later. If someone could contact Spree for me and tell them that I will pay obscene amounts of money for 2 bags of those Spree candied hearts, please. Please, they were so good. Please. Maybe this was a dream, but I remember Philadelphia cream cheese made single-size cheesecakes that I would always see at convenience stores. I finally got the courage to ask my grandma to buy me one and it was my first cheesecake experience. So delicious. Ding dongs. They still make them, but they were better before Hostess went bankrupt and was bought out. I'm a fat bastard that loves snack cakes, pies and anything similar to that. I did notice that something has been off about Hostess snacks since they went bankrupt and subsequently revived however many years ago. I remember Twinkies being so good and delicious, and now they're just not for some reason. I don't know why though. I can't tell if it's something with the ingredients they use now or a change in recipe, but it tastes off nowadays. Regarding the ding dongs, I personally taste tested and compared ding dongs to Drake's version, Ring Dings. The Drake stuff was so much better. Again, I don't know what changed exactly, but nonetheless I don't buy Hostess stuff anymore and go for either Drake's or Tasty Cake. Edit. I can't believe I got gold for being a fat bastard that eats too many cheap convenience store snacks. I guess my habits to get me things. Oh boy. Garlic bread. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so we always had to ration it whenever we got some. 2 pieces for me, max. I remember thinking that when I was an adult, I'd buy so much and have all I could want, whenever I wanted. Then, I grew up and it was discontinued. Sadness ensued and persists till this very day. Edit. Aloha everyone. I just woke up to all of your amazing comments. It's 7:37 a.m. Hawaii time, and wanted to thank you all for the advice, kind words, and laughs. I also wanted to let you know that I do know how to make garlic bread from scratch. I've been told it's a fairly decent one, too, but, as I'm sure some of you can imagine, it just isn't the same as the bread from my childhood. Sending you all so much love and plenty aloha from the island of Maui. A plethora of things from Taco Bell. Edit. I would just like to mention, as long as they don't get rid of their chalupas, I think I'll survive. If they get rid of those, I'll never return. Also, I think some people need to check their app. The Quesarito is just exclusive to the app. Doesn't really make sense as to why, but they have a few online order exclusives. Edit. Number 2, PLS bring back Sangre to Blast Bach Hotel. Frown. Vault soda. God, I miss that. Kids at the skate park would drink this and eat a snack-sized bag of Doritos and lose their stomach from one end or the other. Never failed. Also the Typhoon flavor Mountain Dew that was part of a contest way back. It was fruit punch and Mountain Dew mixed. So much better than the blue one that won. Maruchan Yakisoba used to have a regular teriyaki flavor, as opposed to teriyaki beef and teriyaki chicken, both of which taste nothing like regular teriyaki. It was pure essence of Asian BBQ and I have never found anything else that tastes quite like it. They discontinued the regular teriyaki flavor and I've been sad ever since. Campbell's green pea soup, not split pea, that has ham in it. This had no ham. Most people made it with water. I made it like a biscuit with milk and butter. It was so damn good. I've tried like hell to replicate it and, while I've added some enjoyable porridge to my recipe arsenal, nothing comes close. All I can come up with is something about their dehydration process contributed to the flavor, or they had proprietary cultivars of peas they used. Garfield pizza flavored pasta. Super good. Those of you who didn't live in the late 80s, early 90s missed the golden age of canned pastas. Pac-Man pasta, and chicken-flavored pasta. Ninja Turtles. Dinosaurs, which was worth it just for that bitchin' commercial song. Things used to be bitchin'. You had to be alive in the 80s though. But the king of them all was Garfield pasta. His pizza-flavored ones didn't really taste like pizza, but it had a zestier sauce. I have no idea what the spice they used in it was, but I've never tasted it since. Hershey's chocolate milk powder. No question about it. It was like no other chocolate milk. The flavor and the texture of the powder were like no other chocolate milk created in the history of mankind. It was so delicious that our family's main method of consuming it was to barely dip a shallow spoonful of the powder into the milk and scoop up the barely dissolved milky powder and just eat it. I know it sounds strange. My friends definitely make fun of me for it now, but it was undeniably heavenly. Hershey's was practically selling chocolate gold. But then in like 2008 they discontinued it in favor of their stupid chocolate syrup. Worst decision ever made by a corporation ever. It is not the same at all. My family was devastated. It was like a family member had been decapitated right before our eyes. We frantically ran around to every grocery store, even the military commissary that was like an hour and a half away, checking to see if there was any left that we could buy up. There was none. We wept. But in 2013, I found someone selling cartons of them on eBay for $25 each. A complete rip-off. But what could you do? I showed my dad, and to my surprise he bought us $500 worth. Mind you, we are not very well off at all, even though it only came out to like 20 boxes and only lasted us a year or so. It was well worth the money. No chocolate milk powder will ever come close to what Hershey's chocolate milk powder was. Never. I would do anything to get it back. Please bring it back. Maybe you guys can help me remember this one. Remember in the mid-2000s there was a gum that came in a blister pack like Trident that had all these interesting flavors like dragon fruit, and they had really cool full-page bright ads in magazines. I thought it was a special juicy fruit feature, but I tried googling and couldn't find anything. Edit, found it. Juicy fruit strappleberry and grape melon gum. Woolworths in Australia used to have a dark chocolate version of Nutella. It was bloody brilliant, to put a fine point on it. There was nothing better than going to the local bakery and getting some croissants for brekkie, warming them up in the oven and spreading that dark gooey mass on them with the coffee to wash them down. When I got wind of them discontinuing it, I managed to get a couple of jars. My weekly routine went to once a month. The Philly cheese steak thick burger from Hardee's. I put together a small coalition of coworkers and friends, about 30 people, to bombard them with requests to bring it back, as well as passionately explaining my love for this sandwich to multiple people in the Hardee's hierarchy. This culminated in me speaking with the regional district manager, who basically told me they weren't bringing it back and tried to sell me on the prime rib thick burger they were rolling out. Even sent me a bunch of coupons. I handed them out to the people that helped me and never tried it. It didn't look appealing, but mostly I didn't want to try it and fall in love like that again, only to be let down again. To this day, I've only been to Hardee's once, and I regret doing so because they didn't have my beloved Philly cheese steak thick burger from Hardee's. I even called it the PCTFH. I did eventually find a new love, and we've been married for about 8 years now. Thank you for listening. Not sure if this counts since it has technically been brought back already. But Planters cheese balls, I was able to find them only once and now they are nowhere to be found. Tons of shitty, greasy Utz cheese balls mockingly line the shelves, but the OG is nowhere to be found. Cherry High C. They stopped making High C altogether a few years ago, but they discontinued the cherry flavor almost 40 years ago, and I still mourn it. Also, It tasted exactly like the juice served for communion wine at churches. After they stopped making it, I would get all excited for my annual church visit because I would get a thimbleful of cherry high C. I really like that Hershey's chocolate milk mix powder, much better than Nestle, you know the kind. Came in the little plastic box with the seal on top, purple wrapper. You took a few spoonfuls, stirred them in. Always resulted in little crunchy bits bobbing on the top and a good layer of sludge on the bottom. Damn, that stuff was good. The original menu at Ruby Tuesdays, before they became the generic sit-down restaurant number 17, they actually had some good stuff. Their potato skins are the first thing that comes to mind. Literally hollowed-out potatoes filled with bacon and cheese with sour cream or ranch as a dipping sauce. Oh, and the original salad bar. Real iron brew just any real fizzy drinks since sugar tax was introduced in my country, Scotland. Drinks companies add just enough sugar to not have to pay it and top the rest up with sweetener. Everything tastes like its diet. It's soul-crushing, but many of my local shops now stock American juice, which is better, but it's full of corn syrup. I can't win. I just want my regular sugary drinks back. Taco Bell chicken grilled stuffed burrito. They put avocado sauce and guac in it when they changed it to the XXL and ruined it. They don't seem to have whatever sauce it was before, so you couldn't even attempt to make it. Fairly sure the XXL is gone now too. The McDonald's wraps. They were pretty good. Wendy's snack wraps. They also had a burger with Gouda and different greens. It was so good. Burger King anytime. It isn't a menu item, but I can't get a damn Whopper in the morning because somehow breakfast now makes burgers impossible. Nobody will see this, but Jolly Ranchers. They came in about a million flavors, not just the sour whatever and blue flavored stuff they have now after being sold a few times and finally being absorbed by Hershey. They had cinnamon and a bunch of different fruit flavors, grape, peach, watermelon, tangerine, and more. Plus they made the best caramels. The factory was across the main road from the middle school I went to, and you could always smell what flavor they were making that day. After school we used to go across the road to the bulk store and buy a handful of candy, then eat it on the way home. Their trucks were pretty cool too. Their semi-trailers all had western scenes painted on them. Alright, hear me out. I've got a few. Pepsi Blue. It was good. Altoids Orange Sours. I think that's what they were called. It's been so long that I think they may have just been a fever dream. Chili Lemon Fritos. They were good, especially when paired with a nicely aged marijuana. Gas station sushi. 7-Eleven used to carry this terrible sushi that wasn't quite bad. Monster BFC. I shouldn't have to shotgun two 16-ounces cans like a bitch. And last but certainly not least, the habanero dipping sauce from McDonald's. Fuck that Milan sauce. The habanero dipping sauce brought some heat where it was needed most, and I will never forgive them for taking it away from me. I'm not sure if it's discontinued or not, but years ago when I went to Japan, I think this would have been 2006, they had this Fanta berry soda. I'm not totally sure what it was called. It had a heart and the words berry and love on it, and I couldn't read the rest, so I just took to calling it Fanta Love Berry. Now, Fanta has a wild berry soda you can get here, but this stuff was totally different. The wild berry stuff has this really harsh, artificial flavor to it, and the flavor was pretty weak. It mostly just tasted like sugar and chemicals. Love berry, though. It was like sweet raspberries, blackberries, and strawberries. It was sweet, but not overly so, and just tasted like, well, Love Berry was a perfect name for it. Best soda I've ever had in my life. I've been back to Japan multiple times since then, but I never found it again. Closest I can get to it is mixing Trini blackberry, raspberry, and strawberry syrups into Sprite, but it just doesn't hit quite right. Kit Kat Bites. I miss DHRM so fucking much. I know they apparently have new one, but I do ask me, the chocolate is completely different and it's shaped like the bar, which isn't bad. I love those too, but I just miss them. I could literally eat a whole bag in one sitting. Edit, in case anyone's confused, this is what I mean. https://images.ssl images amazon.ss/images/i/61spuj_sx425.jpg. Taco Bell had this dessert item that was a flour tortilla cut up and deep fried, then coated in cinnamon sugar. Keebler made a bagged version for a short bit. Cinnamon sugar coated graham crackers. What is available now is the cinnamon is in the cracker. Donaldland cookies. Keebler does make a very similar elf-shaped animal cracker, but I've only ever found it in vending machines. Team Soda. It was like Sprite, but better. Burger King had this steakhouse burger that had mashed potatoes, fried onions, and A1 sauce on it. The Angus meat that was supposed to come on it was gross and greasy, but with the Whopper meat it was amazing. Also the potato soft taco at Taco Bell. It had a really good sauce on it, but like most of the good food at Taco Bell it was discontinued. Check with the banana cookies. I don't remember how old I was when they were around, but I'm guessing it was the 90s. They were small banana cookies with chocolate on one side and shaped like bananas. They were so good, and now I'm sad. I will probably spend the rest of the night googling recipes for anything similar. Fucking Rainbow Wonder Bread. I've made a post about this and have had countless people remember the same damn product, and nobody has managed to figure out what the fuck it was. My theory is the company swept it under the rug at this point. My post, https://reddit.com/r/rbi/comments/m0zf1 and/sad_but_semi_update_the_Canadian_confetti/. I've gone through a couple thousand comments on mobile and haven't found anyone that mentioned this, but when I was a kid in school you would rotate being a kitchen helper and get free lunch and a free ice cream treat at the end. The caveat was you missed recess, but I think it was Juicy Juice made these little almost triangle-shaped fruit juice popsicle things in a paper wrapper. It was the greatest treat I've ever had, and I haven't found them since I became an adult with the money to buy them myself. Edit, it was Minute Maid that made them. Quackers, a cheese cracker like Goldfish, but with a tiny bit of heat. Doritos Sonic Sour Cream. Basically tasted like that Cool Ranch chip that got way too much seasoning, but every chip was that way. Or Ida hash brown sticks. Little hash brown sticks about the size of a steak fry. You microwaved them and they were salty, soggy deliciousness. Baked them and they were crunchy deliciousness. I've probably never tasted the real thing, but I would do anything to try the original McDonald's fries, the ones fried in beef tallow instead of vegetable oil. There's a whole revisionist history on it. I tried making my own beef tallow fries once, but I don't have a deep fryer and I didn't have enough beef tallow. They still came out delicious, but I can only imagine what the real thing would taste like. Betty Crocker twice-baked potatoes. It was boxed crap with the nutritional value of a salt lick, but I loved them so much. It was a box with cheese-flavored instant-type mashed potatoes, but you mixed it with melted butter, an egg and milk and baked it. For the last 10 minutes you put this crunchy topping on it. It was softer and lighter than mashed potatoes. I loved the taste. This was discontinued in the early 90s. This is more recent, but Hidden Valley Farmhouse Italian salad dressing mix. This was discontinued about 5 years ago. It has a bit of a bite to it that no Good Seasons flavor has. I managed to find a bunch at a discount overrun store a few years back and bought it all and still have about 20 packets left. Banquet cook in bags. Single-serve packages of meat and gravy that you could toss in boiling water or, later, the microwave, a staple of my childhood as a latchkey kid in the 70s, and I loved them even when I was raising my own kid in the 80s. Flavors: sliced beef and brown gravy, my favorite, and I've never had restaurant or homemade to match it. Salisbury steak and brown gravy, available in the family meal pack now. Turkey and gravy, also in the family meal pack now. Chipped beef and gravy, I was never a fan. And chicken a la king. the only one with veggies. 1 saucepan of water would boil for 10 minutes with cook in bag, then use the water for minute rice or instant Hungry Jack mashed potatoes. First thing, I learned to cook as soon as I was old enough to stand at the stove, long before microwaves were a thing. I keep my fingers crossed that Banquet, Conagra Foods, will bring them back as they modify their frozen dinner styles. They were a bowl option before bowls were cool. I also miss the Banquet frozen dinner with a cheese enchilada and a beef tamale. They have a Hungry Man, mega variety that is close but not quite as tasty as the original Mexican dinner.